Today, we're broadcasting the CheckPoint after show before CheckPoint.
Yeah.
This is ChillPoint.
We shall not be stopped.
Yeah,
You can always
it's the pre-post show.
yeah, if you want to watch this in chronological order, then obviously watch this and then watch CheckPoint when it comes out. But if you want to watch this the intended machete order, you should watch CheckPoint first and then this.
Right. See,
Yeah.
but then you have to wait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll have to wait a bit, but then they'll both be out on YouTube at
Then
the
it'll
same
be the
time.
prequel,
Yeah,
and then the sequel. Yeah.
and you can just skip CheckPoint 1, The Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
You don't want
that
to go
was
back in time for old gaming news.
yeah. That one was ill-advised.
it doesn't really add much to the
If
canon.
if you go back and watch old episodes of CheckPoint, and I mean like really old episodes of CheckPoint, you're going to be disappointed because you're going to find out either one of two things. Gaming news has not changed much, or it has and it's worse.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true. It's true.
So do not go back.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Holy crap.
There is a reasonable amount of, often when I do graphics for stuff, I'll look in my, like, I have, all the folders of all the previous, not all of them, but
Quite
the
a
last
few. Yeah.
the last couple of years of checkpoints, and I'll do like search and sometimes it's a little depressing that I have like a graphic already existing that's like perfect for a story. And you're like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like when I mess up and don't fix the lower third graphics and nobody notices because it works just as well.
Yeah. Those are fun.
Well, we did that sketch once about how hard it was to make women in video games. That was a long time ago. Guess what arguments I still see on the internet?
Yep.
Oh goodness.
So
We'll never move on from that.
Anyway, hey everybody, welcome to the show. As we've been alluding to, the actual episode of CheckPoint, if you didn't see it on Twitter, the actual episode of CheckPoint hasn't gone up yet. We weren't able to film it yesterday, so it has now been recorded. Literally an hour ago, half an hour ago, we finished.
Yep.
So surprisingly, it's not completely done, edited, and uploaded, and approved by YouTube already.
We did not do it in a straight shot.
I will start editing it after we finish ChillPoint, and for every person who asks how long it's going to take, that's 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Harsh but fair. So anyway, we're gonna be we're talking about all the stories that we that seemed interesting this week. Some of which will probably show up on the episode of CheckPoint, but in a more condensed, funny way than what we're just chatting about right now.
Potentially much funnier than the way we're going to put it. Yeah.
Hopefully funnier, I guess.
We didn't get a chance to read any comments to refute.
That's true.
So I guess we'll have to do that next week.
Yeah.
If we remember in a week and care enough.
So have fun imagining which one of these stories might actually show up on the episode of CheckPoint.
Place your bets now. We have channel points for a reason.
I don't know if that's the thing we have set up
No, I don't
for
think
the
it
betting
matters.
thing. But anyway,
Oh, for anyone who's asking, this is a limited edition Breath of the Wild T-shirt that they sell on My Nintendo.
limited edition as in it's already gone.
Limited in that you have to be a My Nintendo member to buy it, but you don't have to spend platinum points on it. You have to log in and prove that you're a My Nintendo member by logging in, and then it's like, okay, cool, you can buy this on the store now. It's open to that. So.
If anyone cares about my t-shirt, it's a limited edition Desert Bus shirt.
Yeah.
So you can't get it anymore, but if you go to store.loadingreadyrun.com and hit into the Desert Bus category, you could still get some other Desert Bus merch.
It's true.
I'm gonna just send out all those doubloon notifications again, and fuck it, if everyone's already received them once, they're gonna get them again. Before I leave today, I'm gonna just send them all out again and say they're available properly this time. Please get them.
All right, so speaking of attire and
Like a car tire?
No, clothing.
Oh, clothing tires.
So last week had a bit of fun talking about some really over the top, ridiculous shoes, Pokemon shoes that had like Bulbasaur in the heel.
There's all this clear
Or
acrylic.
Squirtle in the heel.
Yeah, and Eevee was on the other one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were just like super extra. This time we've got a story about some other shoes that kind of go the other way.
It's a little more shoe-like if you prefer the more traditional look of shoe, I suppose.
If you prefer shoes that are,
Remember shoes?
good for your feet and like shoes that can be walked in, then you can get these Converse sneakers, which, and this, to me, this is like right on the edge of like, there's stealth stuff, and then there's, you guys didn't actually put the work in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, the fact that it's on the tongue, like, at least is something.
Yep.
Like, if these had just been like, they're yellow sneakers, they're Pikachu, because
Yeah.
it's yellow, that would have been kind of crappy.
All right, so you want stealth merch, but also not too stealth.
Yeah. You want it stealth, but not like people can't actually tell.
Yeah. I mean, this is the giveaway, right? Is that it's like because on Chuck Taylor's the star is always on the inside, which on both sides.
So people can't see how bright you are.
It's just kind of I think the way it's always been.
It's-
And so on the outside they put the name, the number, the height, the weight, and all the copyright statements on the rear on the
Yeah,
quarters.
The
on
copyright thing, I feel kind of, I don't know, that's a little cheesy.
Yeah, yeah. It should. I would
But
have printed that like
how
somewhere
will
else.
I know
to-
when my shoes came out?
Yeah.
if nobody is telling me my copyright on my shoes?
This is, of course, the cheapest way to do it is to put all your printing in one area. But yeah,
To me, like, again, if I had just seen this from a distance, my first thought would be that it looks like the label on like a Pantone swatch. And it's just like yellow.
No.
It's number 25 yellow.
how do you think they dyed them?
Okay, but they're not just in yellow.
Yeah, you're not just getting Pikachu.
So then there's also these ones, the well-known Pokemon Lizardon,
Yes.
because this is
Well,
the Japanese. These are Japanese only.
these are Japanese Converse shoes.
Thus all the English.
Which that doesn't even have like a thing about it being fire.
No, just lizard on.
There's no pun in there at all.
Yeah.
Look, if you are an amazing Pokemon fan, you will know orange is basically fire, yellow is electricity, brown's normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Eevee's a normal type.
It's a very normal name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eevee.
AAV.
They should just have a series of sneakers that are all just different Eevees.
Mm-hmm. That would be great,
All the
actually.
different colors.
That
Yes.
would be killer.
Yes.
Flareon, Vaporeon, and all of
Instead-
Psychic type is purple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you have Mewtwo.
Mm-hmm.
Mewtwo sneakers.
Which is, I mean,
The most powerful sneakers.
so I'm assuming at some point,
Experimental sneakers.
eventually they will have Mew.
Oh,
because the legendary Pokemon always come later.
I mean, if they do, they could do like a limited release of this limited release where it's only like one of these is the Mew types, where it's like there's Mewtwo's in every, and you can buy Mewtwo all you want, but one person's going to get a set of Mews. That's 151. That would be really funny, actually.
So Mew is actually a less common Pokemon than Mewtwo? I thought Mewtwo was supposed to be like the super scary.
So
It
Mewtwo is the legendary Pokemon that basically everybody can catch one of in the original games.
Right.
Mew was a Pokemon that at the time you had to send your game cart to someone who would then give it to you because we didn't have mystery gifts through the internet yet.
Yeah. So there was a way to get. So Mewtwo is the synthetic breed of Mew. Is that they're trying to
Right.
harness Mew's powers, and so they end up creating Mewtwo as a result. And so that's why you can get Mewtwo's, but you can't find a Mew anywhere.
Yeah. And it's also why you had rumors like if you look under the truck, you'll find a Mew there.
Yeah.
Right. That there was a lot of like early playground. Like if you stand in this spot and do this for 12 hours, something cool will happen.
It's why that's where cats like to sleep is under warm trucks, right? So that's why you always check below your truck in a Pokemon game because you don't know if there's a Mew sleeping under there.
Did you even know about the Pokemon rumors on the playground?
Yes. I mean, I didn't have a playground when Pokemon came out for me.
Oh, right, you're older.
I'm older.
What? I was nice. I didn't say old. I gave you an extension to that word.
I am older. It was a different time for me. I think I was in university. That's not probably not entirely
No,
accurate.
you would have been late high school.
Yeah.
Speaking of a different time, 1994. Which, or 93, I think actually technically is the year that the original FIFA game came out.
FIFA International Soccer for the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive.
Yeah. So I think 2000 or 93 is when it came out in Japan, and 94 is in North America.
They've been making FIFA for a long time.
Yeah, and FIFA 23. So they've been making it for 30 years. Which
You've only
is
made 23 games.
Yeah, it's a shame that now they're at FIFA 23. They clearly missed some stuff.
Exactly. Right. That's good though. I mean, like that's a long running thing. What are they doing for the 30th anniversary?
They are saying goodbye to FIFA.
Putting out some sort of Game & Watch, I think.
Yeah, they're
divorce.
There's that. I believe that. Yeah, that's the 30th anniversary present.
Right.
Is telling your significant other what you really think.
Yeah. And seeing how they react.
All right, well, see you in 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
There have I believe we've done a few stories in the last little while about various grumblings about different because there's been some weird stuff about that EA. There was reports that EA was trying to get really annoyed with FIFA because of the sort of strange requirements that FIFA was imposing on them in order to have the license.
Yeah, and you have to give our CEO big muscles.
Yeah.
And he has hundreds of girlfriends.
There's been a few news story balls bouncing around.
But now it's official that the FIFA 23, as in the not. And by the way, FIFA 22 is not actually out yet, I don't think.
Huh. All right.
Or it just came out or something.
Right.
But, of course, everybody is like, that one's boring now.
Yes.
Let's speculate about the FIFA 23.
Exactly.
Gamers.
So FIFA 23 is going to be the last FIFA game, at least the last game under that moniker by Electronic Arts.
Right.
Okay. But Electronic Arts has licenses to a ton of other. FIFA's not the only game in town in terms of
Soccer,
football, soccer, and so they have the all leagues from every different country. So basically, everything except the World Cup is going to be in this new thing, which is going to be called. EA
Sports FC?
Yeah, EA Sports FC.
Yeah.
So
FIFA 23 comes out this fall. It's kind of like Cars, right? Where you can buy next year's now.
Yeah, but I mean, no one. What's interesting about 23 when we know it's going to be the last one?
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. So you better buy a copy because it'll be the last one they ever make. Get your NFTs.
And then presumably, FIFA has said that they are then going to go. They're going to go work with some other development company to make an actual a FIFA game again.
They'll have their own FIFA with blackjack and hookers.
Yeah, you know how it is
like
when you get dumped, you go find someone else.
So, but they haven't said who they're working with, and
it's probably not Konami.
I'm sure the relationship is new. You don't want to necessarily announce to the world when you're still feeling it out.
I feel like a soccer game is probably pretty hard to make. At least one at the. I mean, look, there's been certainly a lot of criticism about both about the EA sports franchises that they're a little stagnant.
Yeah.
But that's partially because it's very solid,
How many?
and so they have trouble figuring out what to change every year.
Yeah.
How many people on a soccer team?
30.
30? I mean, when you want to have 30 people enter into a new relationship with another group of, I'm assuming, like 500 or how many employees there are, that's a lot of stuff you got to work out.
I mean, there are over 19,000 players apparently, according to what EA said. So I have to assume there's at least a couple hundred teams. So
That's 19,000 on 9. It's a battle royale kind of thing. 100 players go in, and then the soccer pitch gradually gets smaller and smaller.
So EA, what EA loses here is access to the World Cup, because that's FIFA's thing, is World Cup. But I don't know if they need it because they have so many other soccer leagues. So
I feel like this is one of those things where FIFA originally was sort of the arbiter of all soccer stuff, and then as that has sort of started to change over time, and EA, and they've started to be, throw their weight around with EA. EA is like, what would happen if we just didn't do the license for that? What are we losing actually? And the World Cup. It's like,
yeah. Does everyone only care about the World Cup? No, really? People like it. It happens every few years, but man, they do a Champions League and Premier League stuff like all the time.
I don't pay enough attention to the sport to make that judgment.
Yeah, the most that I've exposed to soccer is Ted Lasso. Let's be honest.
Yep.
And thank God for that, because otherwise I'd know nothing about English soccer.
Yeah, I mean, Ted Lasso got me interested in football, in European football, in the same way that Friday Night Lights got me interested in American football.
Right.
Which is like, I don't actually care about the game really at all, but this is a great show.
Yeah.
Next, there's a Donkey Kong Country ska album.
Yep.
But is it a video game I can play on Rhythm Cafe?
It is absolutely not.
Then
No.
I care less.
It's a cover album by the band The Holophonics.
Yeah. And I mean, if you like ska music, it slaps.
Yeah.
If you, I listened to a couple of the tracks, and it's pretty sweet. Turns out, you don't really think about it in the context of like Super Nintendo music, but it turns out that a bunch of the music from Donkey Kong Country was basically ska music anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I wouldn't doubt that.
The first track is literally, when you hear these guys play it, you're like, oh, it's the same song. Does that mean that it was always ska and we didn't know it? I don't know.
Don't you see? The ska was inside you all along.
A lot of the music for Donkey Kong Country and for subsequent Donkey Kong Country games was made by David Wise, who has done a lot of other stuff too. Wrote tracks for Wizards and Warriors, for RC Pro-Am, for Milton Bradley's Time Lord, back when Milton Bradley made video games for the NES.
I feel like in listening to it, like it does do that weird thing where like you listen to it and you're like, this is just that track from the game. They're not doing anything special with it. But I feel like it is one of those things. It's like, playing a remake of an episode or something. Like the original thing would be, MIDI table synthesis.
Yeah.
So it's like what you're hearing with, real instrument, real horns and real musicians is like what your adolescent brain was imagining and remembers what the Super Nintendo one sounded like.
Yeah.
But it probably did not sound like that good.
It was a lot it's a lot closer to, it's wavetable synthesis, so it's real instruments being sampled as opposed to FM synthesis, which was sound alike.
Right. But
waveforms and stuff. But still, it's not quite
But it's like
as
they sample
real as
like
real.
one horn.
Yeah, it's not quite as real, so yeah.
Doop doop boop boop. Blizzard is apparently going to be hiring a vice president of culture.
Yeah, okay.
To fix its culture.
To fix its culture, I guess.
It's Jessica Martinez, who has 14 years of experience at Disney. I'm not sure doing what, but good luck to Jessica.
Yeah, I hope they're.
Hope.
I don't have any. I don't know if this person has what this person's history is in terms of what they have done at other places. But yeah, my best to her. I hope they're paying her a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because she's probably in for a rocky road.
Didn't the last person who was trying to make
Culture changes
end up leaving after it was very obvious they were a token employee?
Well, they left.
Was that Blizzard or was that someone
No,
else?
no. There was the thing where the person left and they're like, I am so excited about all the great stuff that's happening at Blizzard that I'm leaving.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
But that turned out being like.
Well, she was the co-president.
Yeah, but I don't know.
It's so the tough part with this is that a corporate culture is one of those things that starts just very it's just very benign. That as you start doing things and as a company keeps working, you just kind of develop a process, you develop a relationship, you develop the way that you relate to people within the company. And then over time, as you add more people, you're not really thinking about that because you're just adding people to the company.
It is the sort of unconscious thing.
And that's the tough thing about, we're going to bring in a VP of culture and try to do a top-down fix of culture. And I'm like, the most you can do is have a heavy influence on saying, we don't like the way that things are now, we want to change it to be this other way. So we're going to have diversity talks, we're going to have anger management talks, we're going to have sexual harassment talks, we're going to have all these kind of things. It's like you have to go to these seminars, you have to prove that you've passed this whatever, you have to understand that these are the new things required of you to work at the company, right? And it's like you can get all that stuff in and then you have to stick to it, right? You have to be like, the moment we see somebody break this shit, you're out, because we realize that you don't actually want to be a part of
I think if you already have huge complaints against you for doing, I don't know, some stuff that is probably very incredibly ingrained, they should just be out.
Right, but I'm talking about people who have never had complaints against them because they just kind of float along and they haven't ever done anything bad. But when they start to do things that are like, we don't want this in the culture, then it's like, if you took the courses, if you've done all these kind of things, but you're proving that you're not part of the organization's, you're not reflecting our values, then you should go.
Sure.
And that's tough to do because if a lot of people on the lower ends of the company are all kind of being like paying this lip service and not actually doing anything about it, then you don't see any real change. And that's the toughest part about a job like this, is it's like she has a long battle ahead of her to try to change a lot of things there.
I always imagine, when they talk about bringing somebody like this in, I always imagine there's just the thing of like the boardroom with this, Bobby Kotick and all the executives sitting around, and her patiently standing in the front of the room with like a presentation, and it's like, which one of these three things is appropriate to say to a coworker?
Yeah. All of them?
They're like, no, no.
You can say that this is like the people who are just floating around, but we know Activision Blizzard is full of people who are beyond floating around.
Yeah.
Who are in very high positions.
Yeah.
That I doubt this person will be able to get rid of or change their minds or do anything about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no faith in this.
I mean, things have gone quiet on the Blizzard, Activision, Microsoft front, which is not unexpected. Presumably, as far as we know, that is acquisition is still processing. So that again, that'll be because the whole thing with that was that presumably Bobby would be out.
Well, I mean, but that's still like after the acquisition finishes getting taken, and then they'll be resorting, and they'll probably be downsizing as well because they won't need everyone either.
But maybe this, I guess maybe this person is sort of a part of that sort of the process of trying to change things as they're moving over to Microsoft. Who knows?
Good luck. I won't be surprised if in 6 months you quit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
frankly,
I mean, more so than any of the other executives, Bobby Kotick or whoever. I hope that she not only is being paid well, but also has some sort of good severance package.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
So that if and when she has to leave, that she gets paid well anyway. So this is kind of interesting. Months ago, so thought we were done talking about Wordle. We thought that too. But long time ago, a couple months ago, I guess. Who knows what time is? We were talking about all the Wordle clones.
Mm-hmm.
Wordle likes, you might call them. That were going all throughout like the App Store and the Google Play Store and stuff, where people were making things that were sounded a lot like Wordle but weren't actually, and then Apple was trying to hammer them down, and that was causing all sorts of consternation, and we mentioned at that time that there is a game in the App Store called Wordle with an exclamation point.
Yeah.
Which was there first.
Yeah, it was like it's a couple years old.
Yeah.
2016.
Yeah. And it actually it's nothing to do with the
Josh Wardle's Wordle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wardle's Wordle. It is entirely different game involving words. And there was this whole thing where but because of the name association, that person who it was a game that the guy made in college.
It just kind of left.
He's not actually a developer anymore even.
Mm-hmm.
But it was there, and then it had a couple of sales every once in a while, and then suddenly it had this 1,000% increase in sales.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually they said it had an agreement with Josh Wardle.
Yeah.
He donated a bunch of money that was raised by people accidentally buying this. Hopefully, the people who bought it accidentally still enjoyed this other different game.
Yeah.
So, the additional wrinkle now is that another company, in fact, AppSoft, I believe, is or AppLovin.
Yeah.
Sorry, AppLovin, which is a iOS app developer, has bought Wordle with the exclamation point and turned it into a Wordle clone.
Oh, great! So that's okay.
But because it was a pre-existing game, they're like, ha ha ha, we have the name first, so you can't do anything about it.
Just the idea of, okay, we're gonna buy this guy's game.
Okay.
Then we're gonna throw out everything he did.
Just so that we can claim that we have the name first.
Yes.
Use the name rights.
Well, because if you look because when you go to the App Store, then it means that when you look at the app, it will say that it's been in the App Store since 2016.
Yeah.
And that'll be oh, that must mean this is the original for anybody who cares. And
This is really...
It's super dirty. It's basically saying we don't give a crap about the work you did to develop the game. All we care about is the name because we want to use it for this ripoff that we're planning.
So this is the game as it looked in December. It's a thing where you're trying to make words with
you
the
have
letters.
30 seconds or whatever, and the
To
more
make
you make the word, the timer goes back up.
Okay.
So you...
So this is what it looked like in December, and this is what it looks like now.
Weird, huh? A slow evolution of the gaming of the
And now it's got the ads on it too, which it didn't before.
Of course, yeah. I mean, does it still cost money to buy? I hope so, because that's what it's
Well,
meant to be.
no, it was a free download when I got it, but you could pay to get extra chances or certain little microtransaction things.
Oh, and you got
something.
this. You got
Coins in the corner.
Yep, and you can see there's target and search for 150 and 100 coins.
Yep.
The fact that you can just tell that it's like the magnifying glass and target, 125 coins. This person currently has 8.
Mm-hmm.
Let me guess that those coins are not like super easy to acquire.
No.
If you
But
even
if you hit
can.
that green thing there, I bet you can buy them.
Yeah. This game is free on New York Times.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
it's kind of
Is
kind of
there-
unfortunate. I mean, you don't begrudge the guy who's not a app developer anymore
Mm-hmm.
Is there a
selling his thing.
so there's that whole meme of like, can I copy your homework? Yes, but don't make it look too much like mine.
Yeah.
Is there like a second panel where that person is just like, I won't, and they just go back in time so that they're the ones with the first homework?
Yeah.
So it's like, haha, you're copying me. Like,
I mean, the thing, like, this is one of those things where it's like, by and large, it's about, it's about the people who know the truth of the situation, will be like, we know what's real and true, and people who don't know the truth of the situation will pay for this, and nothing good or bad or whatever is going to come from it. I don't think iOS is going to turn around, the App Store isn't going to turn around and throw this off the App Store because it's a meaningless, not meaningless, it's a shameless copy. I don't think that's I mean, if they were going to do that, they would have done that years ago when 2048 came out.
Sorry, just the list of other games that AppLovin has made.
Mm-hmm.
oh no.
Project Makeover, Bingo Story, Solitaire Cruise.
All right.
The name App Loving just makes me think of like
Super bad.
a menu
App
where,
Lovin'.
where someone's like, hey, here's our apps.
Oh, here's the App Lovin'
Here's
menu.
the appetizer menu.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, in late January, the World App received a bug fix update for the first time since 2016, and added the 6 guesses mode, which also became the default mode. Anyway.
Wow.
All right.
Holy crap.
Speaking of games, it was the Nintendo Indie World.
Yeah.
It was.
This last on Wednesday, I think.
Yep.
And
Did
there-
we all watch it?
I did not.
I watched it twice, but once
Ooh.
I was very tired.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to step through some of this stuff, I think, and talk about what got shown off, right?
Yeah. So I guess yeah. What were the games that you thought looked interesting?
Gunbrella looks rad as hell, actually. I completely forgot about it, but now that I'm seeing the name here again, I'm like, Gunbrella seems like it's going to be kind of a fun... it's a side-scrolling... I'm sure this word Souls-like is in there somewhere. It's a noirish game, and you get to use your umbrella to, swing and glide and,
Your gun is also an umbrella.
Yeah.
It's multi-use.
And I think it acts as a shield against projectiles as well. It looks pretty rad. It's worth checking out.
I love that it's called a gritty side-scrolling combat when
Yeah.
you're fighting with an umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gunbrella looks neat. I think it's being developers Gato Roboto.
yeah,
Which I actually
Doink-
think you would like if you
Doinksoft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great name.
Gato Roboto, which is something about a robot cat.
Yeah, it's
I,
you're a cat in a giant robot and you sometimes have to get out of the robot, but then you're like
And it's black and white.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I have that because the Epic Store gave it away at one point, but I haven't played it.
I don't think it's my kind of game, but I think you might like it.
Might. All right.
I don't think it's a good game, but I think you might like
Yeah,
it.
you know how I am.
I didn't. That's not what I said.
Another Crab's Treasure is from Agro Crab. Was that the name of the
Yes.
company? Yes. They
Yes.
decided they would make an actual crab-themed game.
They had the name way before they came up with this game.
Yeah.
They this is their second game. Their first game was Going Under, which I believe Talking Sim played a little bit of, but they called this one a Shells-like.
Not a Souls-like.
You're a crab who is I believe you have to repay to get your shell back. So
You're like a hermit crab with
put
no
little-
shell. Yeah.
You put little like cups and stuff on your back.
You're looking for
These
trash in
different
the
things.
ocean, essentially. Yeah.
It looks cute.
Yeah, and it's very much a third person. I'm fighting stuff, very Dark Souls thing. And if you are not in a shell, you one hit and you die. So there'll be probably lots of people doing shellless runs, I'm sure.
Yeah,
It's like ghosts and goblins, you know.
Yeah.
Where you get hit and your armor flies
Exactly.
Yeah, I started following Aggro Crab on Twitter because they, amidst the Team 17 controversy, they left that publisher.
Oh,
But,
because of the NFT
well, because
thing?
Going Under is, I believe, literally about the things that were being complained about at that publisher,
Great.
and they felt that was weird. But the game looks really cute.
Also,
it's not coming out till next year, so I will probably forget about it briefly and then remember later because there's a lot of fan art that people are making. So it's going to be like Tunic all over for me.
They also lifted your time for crab thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they said time for crab.
Yeah, this is and don't worry, everyone's got time for crab, and they had big crab claws on their hands. And I'm kind of like, is this something that we did a while ago that then just got around to like different parts of the internet, or did somebody do this before us? Or
I think they just like crabs.
yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
They had crabby, pinchy claws. I quite like the dev talk they had for this portion.
Yeah, they did a very good job with their presenting. Not everybody did. Electhead is kind of neat. It's a puzzle platformer.
Yeah, I saw that compared to Mega Man
Yeah,
in sort of visual style.
has this very stark feeling to it, like very, very
In like
white on
any
black.
NES style
Yeah.
graphics.
One person dev team.
Yeah. Neat idea, though, that you're a little robot that can throw your own head, which is electrically charged, and anything that you step on, you are charging with your own electricity. And that means that if you step on a platform that's still, that platform might start moving because you're electrically charging it. And that means having to figure out how to get around in a stage where there might be, like, lightning and stuff. You know, there might be,
Yeah,
like,
it's,
exposed electricity and you need to avoid
Yeah,
it.
very puzzle platformer.
Very puzzle platform.
Not as a criticism, but it seems like the kind of game that in the past would have been like a Flash game.
Mm-hmm. Very, very much so. I would agree.
Just because it's like, you know, one developer released, like it could have been released on like Newgrounds or something.
Yep.
But now, because, you know, Unity and these various things are now, it can actually be available on Steam and itch.io and Switch, presumably. So this is one that is currently, yeah, so it's I think it's currently available
It's on Steam and itch.io.
now already.
Yeah.
And that it's going to be out on Switch later.
Correct, yeah.
Mini Motorways,
From Dinosaur Polo Club, from the people who brought you Mini Metro.
which I'm pretty sure it's another one that's out already on multiple devices. I
Apple
think.
Arcade exclusive originally.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Steam has it now too, I believe. Yeah.
And so it's on mobile and stuff. This is one of these games that I feel like, you know, it's the thing where like, you know, different things pop up and you have to connect them together.
Yep, yep.
It's the thing of like, I feel I kind of like these games until I don't.
Mm-hmm. You kind of they
It's-
wear out their welcome.
Well, it's like I like it's like fun to do it, and then at a certain point I realized that like, wait, I'm way too stressed out. It's like I'm playing games to relax.
Yeah.
And I'm like super stressed about playing this game because, you know, there's all this stuff going on. Why am I doing this? I'm gonna stop.
I really like the look of it, but I hope the controller support works well for it because it really looks like it would be better with either a touch interface or mouse.
Yeah, I mean certainly. I mean, I guess they could do the touch
The
thing
Switch
on
does
the
have
Switch.
have,
yeah.
have touch controls, but I would assume they would also be trying to get. They would also have controller support.
Yeah, presumably.
But I like the design look of the game. I probably won't play it because those are games where I'm like, oh, this is really neat, and then I just kind of walk away.
They have a very pretty aesthetic.
Like I remember, I think the first, I don't know if it's by the same people, but similar thing. The like, there's like an air traffic game for iOS, like quite a few.
Flight control.
Yeah, I think it's called Flight Control. And I remember I had it on my iPad, and it was that thing where it's like I'm playing it, and then you sort of get to the point where like, man, it turns out that like being an air traffic controller, even in this incredibly simplified form, is a very stressful job and not fun.
Yes, especially once you have like 10 planes coming out at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blats.
Didn't think this was going to make it to Switch.
Really?
I didn't, anyway.
Well, I mean, they've been working on it for quite a while.
I mean, it seems like the kind of game that would be
believe-
good for Switch. Though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe Ooblets was Ooblets the one that was owned by Double Fine, or was with Double Fine for a little bit,
I think it was.
and then they pulled out because Double Fine got bought out by
Microsoft. Yeah.
and so that kind of
Glumberland.
did a bunch. I think they started out on the Epic store,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been working and doing a lot of stuff in. I want to say early access because that's how I always view games like this, but I don't know if that's true. But yeah, it'll be on Switch. It's Pokemon if all Pokemon were being grown out of the ground, and dance fights.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes.
No complaints, right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I'm sure this works, and you can make them wear sunglasses and hats and stuff. So you have so much customization. So
Yeah. And it's really cute looking, and it is a game that I've been wanting to play, but it's also, like, I'm not a big PC gamer, so I'll probably pick it up on Switch and check it out there.
Mm-hmm.
It literally just occurred to me that it's like they've had special edition events in Pokemon games where you can get like Pikachu with the Santa hat or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this the have they never had the idea of just like you can buy a fancy hat and put it on any Pokemon?
Yeah.
Well, there is, in I think
Like
in
that
one of the
seems like they
games,
really are
there's,
missing a bet there.
There's a dress-up minigame kind of pageant thing. I don't know how deep that goes because I think I missed that game. I think that's Diamond and Pearl.
Like it would be amazing if it was just like, you know, you have like a hat, you know, like a bowler hat or a whatever hat, and you can put it on any Pokemon.
Yeah.
Oh,
But of course, it operates and like it's like how does this
let's-
Pokemon, like every Pokemon that you catch, you'd be like, ooh, how does this Pokemon wear the hat?
Yeah.
Let's go Pikachu and Eevee. I mean, it's not every Pokemon, but you could. They had outfits to match your outfits.
Oh, nice.
That was really cute. Or if you didn't give them an like if you didn't have the hat on them, you could like swirl their hair and make it all mussy. That was cute. I mean, they're still kind of working on like letting people to have the Pokemon run around with them in every game, which I think is a much needed feature. So, yes, all Pokemon having hats definitely should be next.
As I mentioned before, I'm playing Soul Silver and Heart Gold with my brother, which they in the Soul and Heart version they added the thing where you can have your number one Pokemon follows you around.
It's great.
Which is great, except in some cases it's like say you have like a Magikarp as your first Pokemon.
Yeah.
It just kind of looks mean. Like
Yep.
you're just kind of dragging this poor fish who's just kind of flump.
Paul, I know for a fact that you used to complain about the Magikarp jump game and how mean that was because the game's very mean to them.
I mean,
so how I don't know why you're surprised that Pokemon is also mean to Magikarp in a different game.
I'm just saying that like not all Pokemon are well suited to be following you around all the time. You feel kind of bad for them sometimes. Or the other one is when you have like, speaking of Magikarp, you have like Gyarados following you around. And still, like, trainers are like, hey, kid, you suck, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I have this, like, 30-foot-tall sea serpent behind me, you know. Maybe you want to rethink what you were talking about right then. Especially since you're, like, a level 3 bug catcher guy. Anyway.
Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, already on PC.
Oh, yeah, I think we actually played this on stream, like, years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So they've decided to bring it to Switch. It looks very wobbly. They're going to talk about in the direct how wobbly everything is. So enjoy that. But yeah,
it's not actually that accurate.
Yeah, no.
Well, because the devs said that the idea was like if you were playing with figures and kind of smashing them together. So I think the little wobble is meant to kind of be that they don't have that much going on.
Wild Frost.
Yeah.
This is the game where when I saw it, I'm like, oh, good, something else for Is This Your Card? This is a card-based roguelike game, as they say.
I think
which is
something for Heather.
I mean, I guess card-based without like whatever
Slay the Spires?
Slay the Spire is sort of in that same area too.
Yeah.
So
this is very much looks like a tactics style thing of you put your cards out in an arrangement.
You get to build a town
Oh, there's that too.
and stuff by doing things.
And then upgrade your cards.
I'm not sure what the story portion is. I just know that there are cards and the artwork is cute.
speaking
And there's a town, and I like town building things.
speaking of cards,
Are you gonna make a house of cards?
I played a little bit. I was playing a little bit of SteamWorld Quest, which is a card-based RPG thing that got very. It's this weird situation where it's like, for good reason, it was praised for its card, like it's got a very, very good card battling interface and stuff.
Right.
It's like a great mechanic, but I kind of got tired. I was just like, the like characters in the story are really not good, and it's just like I kind of wish this mechanic was in some other game.
Fair.
And by and large, I've enjoyed the SteamWorld games.
Oh, I love the Dig games.
Yeah, SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld Heist.
Your Heist is also good.
Are both really good.
It's a turn-based tactical thing. Is it not? It's like
Heist, yeah. It's a more
every
tactical.
game they've done in the series has been a different kind of genre of mechanics.
Yeah.
Right?
With the same sort of world. But
Which is an interesting idea.
Was there anything else during this? They had a bunch of other stuff they showed off at the end really fast, and then they slowed it down slightly so you could actually see all the different games.
Out of that I remember, One Shot is a big deal to some people because that's a game off of Steam that is kind of one of those games that has some moments where you need to be on a computer desktop, so people are trying to gauge how they're going to do that in a console. Like Doki Doki Literature Club has some stuff like that too,
right,
and whatnot. And I'm curious more about Idle Manager, but just because I think that might be an interesting game, but it looks very text heavy.
Idle or idle, like
IDOL.
Okay,
Singers,
not IDLE, like
no,
like
although
like a management sim that's also an idle game.
I'm sure that there's a. I would expect an idle management game to either be about cars idling, or to be about how you've got a bunch of idle games going in the same interface, and how do you manage them all at the same time.
Constantly swapping back and forth.
I love the idea of an idle game about cars idling.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's a racing game? No. The cars never move.
Yeah.
The cars are just there.
Yeah.
You have to like keep them running.
But you don't want to like let them idle too long because you might get a ticket.
Right.
And it's a no idling zone. Speaking of people who idled on doing things, Duke Nukem Forever, which was a game that did eventually come out and was generally disappointing for everybody, including the developers and anybody who was excited about it. But this week, one of the very, very early builds, back before 3D Realms was owned by Gearbox, who's now owned by, actually they're owned by Embracer.
Right, yeah. It's like, I know the answer to this question. I think we just talked about it.
A 2001 demo or
original build kind of.
Original build for, I think it was for a convention or some sort of presentation. not only first the somebody first released the like video file,
Right.
and people were like, oh man, of like the run through, and people were like, oh man, that's so cool and weird. And the one of the original developers was like, and people were like, oh man, I wish I could play that. And one of the original developers was like, you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work. Like basically only this part that you see in the video works. It's not good. And then the same person who released this video also was like, you know what? I was gonna wait on this, but screw it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna release this big archive of all the files that they have. I don't know how they acquired them.
Yep.
But and you can build, and people or various video game news companies, organizations have built and played this build from 2001, and it sounds like basically what you would imagine it would be like.
Yeah, it's pretty loosey goosey. But it's
like a fancier version of Duke Nukem 3D.
Yeah, it really kind of gives me that sense when I look at it. I'm like, okay, that's. I love the idea of like, oh, you'll run into this enemy who is a cross between Terminator and RoboCop, because why not? I mean, the whole Duke Nukem 3D is pastiche upon pastiche, so.
And like those were more relevant back in 2001.
Sure were, yeah.
And you immediately go into like a strip club and there's naked ladies, because they were like, that's what everyone liked about Duke Nukem 3D.
Yep.
And he, makes terrible jokes and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, the game kicks off with Duke guesting on a talk show, and it's like, okay, so that's how you get into the game, I guess. But
he wrote a book apparently.
Yeah,
about his experience of throughout Duke Nukem 3D.
Yeah. And so it's a thing, and it's like, if I guess you could probably find a copy yourself and play it. By and large, it's just a cleaned up. There was some stuff in here where they were like, when they had I swear it was this game where they were talking about how they created these massive environments to play in, but they were like, you can't do anything with this environment unless you're going to have dozens and dozens and dozens of enemies, because it's such a huge area. So can you actually make, like, it's like, if there's only a few gunfights to be had in this like huge hotel lobby or whatever it is, stadium kind of area, and it's like there's nobody around, is it fun or not? Or how do you actually make gunfights that are fun and interesting
and
in
like
just a big open area, right?
And like probably like you sort of make the area and then realize that the engine can't handle that many.
Yeah. There's no way we could actually fill this with enough enemies that the engine can actually handle at the same time. So
you can sever limbs by shooting them repeatedly.
Yeah, it's a curio, right? Ultimately, is what it is. It's like here's a sample of all this stuff that everyone talked about how we were waiting for this game to come out. Oh yeah, there's a hidden Easter egg of the original first level Duke Nukem 3D built in Unreal Engine. Because this was built in Unreal Engine 1, I think.
Right.
But yeah, it's like, you can replay that if you want to, and you can kind of see all this other stuff, and there's a motorcycle piloting thing as well, and it's like, all right, it's.
But this is, I mean, the story behind. I think there's recaps and videos and articles about it, but the idea with Duke Nukem Forever is that the development process took so long that every time they got any kind of progress on it, the technology had moved such that they had to switch to a new engine. Yeah. And so they had to remake everything that they were doing.
Yeah, and if I had a nickel for every time that happened, I'd have multiple nickels, which is weird, but it's not a lot, but it's strange that it happened that many times. So, yeah.
Anyway.
They should have probably just shit-canned it and been like, screw it, we're moving on to a different product and we'll reboot this at some other time, but, meh.
Speaking of things that might have fit in Duke Nukem 3D, I don't know.
Sure.
Slipknot is going to show up in Smite.
Great.
So, Smite is a MOBA-type online battle arena, kind of, like League of Legends or whatever.
Okay.
And you have gods and champions and different things, and they're adding people from Slipknot as if the sound is turned off. But here, let me switch over to this. They're not new characters. I think they're skins for existing characters. But it's just like, cool, okay, sure. Other bands have been people from bands have showed up in like Fortnite and stuff, so I guess this isn't that weird, but it still seems kind of weird.
I think it's funnier that Queen's Blade is now a game.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that it took until now.
Also, why has nobody put Lordy in a game yet? Like, come on.
Yeah.
They would be awesome.
Also, there are like 9 people in Slipknot.
Apparently.
Okay. I didn't care. I didn't know that, but I wasn't going to find out either. So,
just tried to close the ad on the stream. I'm sorry. I think I had the sound turned off though, right? Hopefully I wasn't blowing your. None of us are wearing headphones.
Yeah, so this is not a problem for us right now.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, this is weirdly depressing, in a way. Actually, it's not. I guess it shouldn't be depressing.
I don't know why anyone's surprised by this.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've talked about way back in the day about that the Wii U was disappointing in sales, possibly because people thought it was just an expansion for the Wii.
Yeah.
Apparently, that was a big problem.
And you think, though, that people would be buying more Wii U software, trying to play it on their Wii, and then discovering that, oh, wait, I need to buy a Wii U, and that would correct itself.
I don't think the amount of people that they got interested in the Wii were interested in moving on to the Wii U.
Yeah, that's actually what I think happened.
By the time that much time had passed.
Yeah, I could sell my grandparents on buying a Wii, and I did, because I thought they would find it interesting to bowl and stuff like that, and play golf at home, and things to keep 80-year-olds active, right?
Yeah, and a few years later, do you think you could sell
We talked
them on
about,
Wii U?
the coup of putting Wii Sports in there, right?
Yeah, and it's like, so when they they tried mine at home, they're like, this is really fun, and I'm like, if you want to get one yourself, and I mean, my parents, I was able to sell my parents on that, and they bought one for themselves and played it a little bit here and there and used it for Netflix, I think, and whatever. But by and large, yeah, most of those people who were touch generations never decided to pick up the Wii U because they were never going to pick up the Wii U.
Now the Nintendo had a financial information meeting investor thing recently, which is why we're getting articles like this about just different sales, how the Switch is doing. And
I think there were like a bunch of investor meetings this week.
Yeah,
a bunch of
everybody
companies.
seems to have
I'll
had
be back.
them.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
Okay.
So anyway, the upshot why we're talking about this now is they revealed that the Switch has now sold more consoles of the Switch have been sold than games were sold for the Wii U.
Yeah, and again, that's not surprising. The Wii U has a very small catalog of games to begin with because it was not out for very long. The games had a small player base in which to sell to in the first place. That's why we've gotten a bunch of those as ports to the Switch, because a lot of people actually didn't play them.
Right. It's like, remember, this game didn't get a fair shake. Play it.
Yeah. And that's how we got like about Bowser's Fury, right? We got the add-on to 3D Mario World. I think that was the name of it. I get confused by all the different Mario game names.
Also, Bowser, the head of Nintendo, was angry. I mean, he wasn't head of Nintendo America at the time of the Wii U, but I'm sure he would be very annoyed.
And some stuff wasn't super Wii U only either. Like they did a Wii U Fit, which is like an updated Wii Fit, but a lot of people, again, who fell into that category of the demographic that they had acquired with the Wii already had that game as far as they were concerned.
Right.
But I also feel like the Wii was it was a fun thing, right? People learned about motion controls and were like, oh, I can go bowling and stuff. But if you came up to them and you're like, okay, but now we have the Wii U, and they're like, that's cool, but I already know about motion controls. Like, I don't think the same demographic wanted to move on.
I think it's a sort of double-edged sword of how popular the Wii was with non-typical demographic, like non-typical sort of gaming people.
So they developed a very casual market,
and so people who are who are used to the video game industry are like, yes, of course we're gonna have to, there's a new console coming out every couple of years and we'll have to buy all this stuff and we want to get the newest and coolest thing, right? Whereas people who were just like, oh, hey, this Wii thing is great, we can do this stuff on it, I feel like they almost saw it as just like an appliance that we just like buy, and it has the bowling and the golf and stuff on it, and like that's it. And it's like, if that's what you want, that's what you have, that's all you need. There's no reason to, the idea of like, why would I upgrade? I have the thing that I wanted.
I got a Wii for Wii Fit as an exercise machine. I was disappointed the Wii U didn't support the balance board. It does support the balance board. I've used it on the Wii U. They have Wii U Fit. It uses the balance board.
I mean, I would think that the Wii U would support the balance board even better. It's larger, so that you can it spreads the weight of the balance board out even more.
Mm-hmm. It also, I think, did the Wii U come out kind of around the time when we had like Xbox and PlayStation also doing the thing of this is the media center kind of thing, and they like the Wii U was trying to do that too a little bit, but like especially in Canada we didn't have like a lot of the services that they would have had for their buttons. So there was that. It did a lot of good things, I think, in terms of asymmetrical play with one console.
But like Nintendo has never really committed to the like media center thing in the same way that like whereas with the with Xbox and PlayStation, it was like, this is also a Blu-ray player. This is also your.
Well, I mean, there was that.
Thing.
It didn't have that, but it had Netflix. It had a fairly decent interface for Netflix because we used it on there quite a bit. The things that didn't really like when they first showed it off. I mean, for one thing, when they very first showed it off and they said, "Hey, look at us, have a phone call through it," and like that was new technology or something, and it's not really.
I love that video.
And they're showing all this stuff. It's like there's a lot of features you're trying to show off. There's no focus here, so it's a lot. There's nothing to say what is this device really for.
It's like, I wonder I love to see the numbers from Nintendo, like how many people who owned a Wii U used the video calling functionality.
I don't know if it even really, like, I guess that functionality kind of
Did it ever actually ship?
Well, because I remember them talking about stuff like, oh, eventually you'll be able to buy a second tablet and you'll have two tablets, but it never worked for that. Like, I don't think the hardware ever got there.
Right.
And they never sold those separately. But like there was some stuff that worked really well with like the two screen idea, like you would have gotten with the DS. Like Mario Maker was very good with the Wii U.
Yeah.
2-player Hyrule Warriors was really good because one person has their entire own screen instead of a split screen.
I remember, I think it was like Sly Cooper had like a cool like AR thing where like one person could look at it and like see the secrets and then tell the other person about it. And stuff.
Yeah,
like there's all sorts of interesting stuff with that, like that. But
and having the map for a game constantly on the thing, I really liked.
Yeah.
But again, that's like a thing that the DS does, right? It's just there's a lot of good stuff about it, but it didn't reignite the same audiences, and it kind of also pushed back audiences who were like, well, you look like you're going more casual and I'm looking for a different kind of game. Nintendo's not really doing that.
And of course, I had the thing with like the tablet seemed independent but wasn't.
Yeah.
Right. So you have that thing where
It's,
like the joke about
you
somebody,
couldn't get very far from the system.
but the joke about somebody like taking their cordless phone from home and like taking it like it's a cell phone, and it's like that doesn't work. But of course now the Switch is sort of fulfilling the promise that the Wii U was trying to do in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's much more, I think, of what people wanted in terms of having a device you could move and then also put in the dock. I know a lot of people will only play it docked unless they do travel, and others are different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I pretty much only play docked, but
the Switch outselling the total software sales is like, yeah, that seems really sad. But the Switch has also sold over 100 million units now.
yeah. So,
And if it's just now outstripped the software sales, it's like, well, that's still a lot of software you managed to sell. I guess it's not good given the number of titles you had, but
it's like originally on PlayStation.
well,
Maybe it was a different sneaky game. I don't think. Yeah.
That horror game, but the picture
Fatal
game
Frame
had like a thing where you used that as a camera,
Yeah.
which made it really hard to stream because
Right.
you couldn't.
Yeah, I remember we were trying to work out. I think you did like one or two things with the Wii U where we had like a little camera attached to it or something.
I think once
And
I
like,
tried it.
and there was a thing where like theoretically you could get a thing like we have for there was like a third party thing that somebody had made, kind of like the 3DS we have, so that you could broadcast the screen. And we were like, but it was like pretty expensive, and we were like, are there actually that many Wii U games we want to show?
Yeah, I mean, even my understanding is even Nintendo had a very custom setup in order to do capture off of their thing because it's not intended to do that. Which must have made it very difficult during their Treehouse Live segments.
Anyway, moving on to a game unlike games on the Switch and the Wii U is the epitome of realism, Call of Duty Warzone. Which is going to be having a 2-week event starting May 11th. So this is actually already started.
And tell me about this realistic event, Paul.
It's called Operation Monarch.
Uh-huh.
Which might reveal what this is about if you've been watching certain types of movies. Godzilla and King Kong are going to show up in Call of Duty Warzone. This is a extremely belated tie-in to the Godzilla vs. King Kong movie that came out like 2 years ago.
Okay.
And so I haven't played Call of Duty Warzone, but it's like, so you're playing, first person shooter, free for all combat thing where you're like fighting each other and doing stuff. But then also Godzilla and King Kong are just there. And
they're just hanging out playing video games while you're playing a shooter?
Sometimes they attack people, sometimes they don't. Apparently you can like get kill streak things that you can get in the game where you can like there's an existing thing in the games where there's like these like kill streaks where it's like if you do really well you can get like airstrikes to attack and different things like that. They're adding the kill streak now, or they're adding a thing where like if you do really well you can then get like Godzilla to go fight somebody for you. You can like call in the guys, and you can like try to fight them, but that seems like it would be difficult.
I mean, if they're not actually hurting anyone,
I
feel like it's.
I'm pretty sure they are hurting somebody. They are hurting like everybody, like they're attacking people.
Oh. But do I have to be the one to clean
You can go in and fight them, or you can attack them, and whoever does the most damage to them gets a special kill streak, so you can heat ray or ground pound in the area of your choosing. So heat ray from Godzilla or ground pound from King Kong. So yeah, it's just there's one of these like weird, bizarre tie-ins that maybe has been like negotiated, or there's some reason why it was like delayed, and they're like, I guess we'll put it out now. Go for it. But I find it amusing. Also, the the King Kong and the Godzilla movies are basically about how, one of the key points of those movies is that regular military people have no chance. That's like one of the main things. Like, don't bother shooting him, it just makes him mad.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Which is kind of funny that this is like, so we're going to put them both in the thing. Anyway. And finally, speaking of old Nintendo consoles, as we were when we were talking about the Wii U, here's an older Nintendo console, namely the N64, and this is actually pretty amazing. So the Video Game History Museum.
Is this the one in Seattle? No, it's a computer history museum. This is maybe somewhere else. I can't remember where these guys are located actually now.
No, sorry. This is the Cambridge, England Center for Computing History.
Okay, yeah.
And they're setting up a thing where they're using they're putting N64 console through a
video scaler.
Yeah, so through a device that you would use for doing like a video wall, where you can. So the idea is that you can then, you can have like a thing with 10 screens with different parts of a video.
Right, but that means you need to carve up your source video into multiple sections to go on multiple TVs.
Yes.
And so what they did is they took N64, plugged it into this thing, scaled it, and split it into 4, so they can have people play GoldenEye 64 on 4 separate monitors and not be able to screen cheat each other.
I think that's a little against the spirit of the time.
It's funny too. It's funny you said, because that is literally a point that somebody makes in the article as well. Is they're like, we see why they did it.
Oh, sure.
But the spirit of it is that you were supposed to either live by your honor or die as a screen cheater, right? That
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. I like that they did this because it's technologically fun. It's like, what if you could do that and not have to rely upon one of your buddies who's really good at screen cheating all the time. But I also agree that it's kind of a little against the feel of what happened at the time.
That era of couch co-op versus gameplay stuff was calling out your friends for screen cheating.
Yeah, it's
right?
true.
Like in today's day and age, this game would likely not even have a local co-op play thing. It would be all online, and no one would be able to screen cheat at all. But of that time, of that era, that's how games were played.
Yeah.
And so the end result here is thousands of dollars worth of high-tech equipment being used to play this silly game.
Yeah.
And of course, the other thing that I remember we realized, there's a loading ray run video from like a really long time ago called Base Center Takeover, where we all just like went into the Base Center, which is like a local mall here, with the TV and N64 and GoldenEye, and just like sat down and started playing on, because there's
in the mall.
Yeah, because there's like a little couch area.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And there's like a little couch thing, and we just like set up the TV and put in the thing and started playing. Until we got kicked out by the security.
How long did that take?
we were playing for like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Some people like, also we like, some people like came, like a guy and his girlfriend came by and they
wanted to play for a
yeah,
bit?
they played for a bit, and there was like an older couple in the next seat and play. I think I don't know if it's available somewhere online, but still. But anyway, one thing one thing we found out playing it again is that, if you've seen people do like speed runs of N64 GoldenEye, one of the techniques that they use is that they look at the ground all the time, in order to make the frame rate better.
Right.
So like the speed run GoldenEye 64 looks really dumb because they're looking at the ground the whole time.
Yeah.
In order to make the frame rate better. That's when you're playing one player. When you're playing 4-player, the N64 is rendering 4 different viewpoints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically we realized, like, how the hell did we play at like 10, 15 frames a second? Like, it's not fun if you're used to playing like normal games. The N64 really could not handle it.
Well, I mean, at that time, you had a lot of games that had frame rate difficulties on kind of everything,
yeah.
and so you're used to it.
And the amount of caffeine you were drinking was also filling in,
And we
doing
played
frame
it,
interpolation.
and we played it on like super speed mode often too.
Yeah.
which was like 5. You'd be like jump, and somehow it didn't seem weird, but
Yeah, but it would today because you're playing stuff that's running smoother. So to go back to that,
yeah. Anyway,
it's why you don't necessarily want to try out the newest thing if you can't afford to do it, because then it'll be really rough when you gotta go back.
when it's not like, it's like people who are like, now that I play all my games at 60 frames a second, I can't go back to 30.
Yeah.
That, but much, much worse. Anyway. That is the last story that I marked. So some of those stories
will be in an episode.
in the episode of CheckPoint, where Bij and Kathleen will be presenting them with their own viewpoints, which may be similar or different to...
Or maybe have nothing to do with the story that's actually being talked about.
That's true. That's true.
Sometimes that happens.
Heather, are you saying that they might use the story just as a jumping off point to talk about something else?
Yes, always. Any chance they get. I don't think some of them like talking about
For
video
shame!
games.
Who's the most guilty of that, I wonder?
Gee, I don't know. You tell me.
I am a respected journalist.
Show me your resume.
You can't even say it without laughing.
I don't even know where my bottle went. Jesus. All right. I'll take us home,
Take
Paul.
it out of the room.
I did, yeah.
So, thanks everybody for watching and joining us. Like I said, the episode of CheckPoint will be going up tonight or tomorrow morning, sometime in that period, depending on the vagaries of YouTube and so forth. But it'll be up soon. But in the meantime, let's see what's coming up in the near future. Because what's coming up is Friday Night Paper Fight, where they're going to be doing something very special. They're going to be doing the Robo Rosewater Cube, which is they're going to be drafting Magic cards that don't exist. They are Magic cards that were created. They're AI generated Magic cards, and the folks who actually made the set not only made all these cards, and actually it's not only just like made a ton of random cards, but they like made a like semi-draft, like something that actually is like semi-functional.
Yeah. And this is a new cube. This is not the old cube with whatever else. This is the new cube.
But not only did they do all that, they actually made art for all the cards that is also like deep learning AI generated art, which is pretty like it reminds me a lot of the art from like Mysterium
Yeah.
That sort of like
Dixit, yeah, kind of.
yeah, Dixit. Yeah, that sort of like dream-like weirdness. So they also did art for all the cards, and then they printed them all out. They like made the cards physically and sent them all to us. In fact, so we have the full set of cards in physicalness, and we're going to be playing it, and it's going to be awesome.
Now, the only people who know what these cards are them, those who created it, and you, because you had to scan them, and that's it.
I mean,
nobody at the table even knows what's coming.
The other thing is, I didn't even have to scan them because
Even better.
they sent us all the card images and the card text.
That's
so,
awesome.
And we'll actually have the card text loaded into Lurbot. Our Mr. Flip, our wonderful mods, was able to set it up. So we'll have the card text loaded into Lurbot. So if you do the like card thing in the next little while, it might be very confusing for you.
You've just given them a bunch of ideas.
I think the spoiler for this is out. Like people can access it,
Right.
but none of the players have deliberately. So it should be super fun. That's coming up at 5 o'clock.
Which
So
is an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Followed by Play It Forward on Saturday. If you saw this morning and on Thursday, Corey's been playing Horizon Forbidden West. Last time I heard, she wasn't even allowed into the West.
Oh, she's still working on it.
Yeah. Which, I guess isn't surprising considering the name. But usually with these games, it's like, wait, really? You're not allowed into... Why... Don't call it... Don't tease me with the West if it's forbidden. Anyway. Hopefully, at some point, she is allowed into the previously forbidden West. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult to progress.
I don't know. I hope she can never get in.
It's like you're not allowed into... It's like, what? You don't even never get into the West? Like,
No,
in
just
the
Corey specifically. Everybody else can go in, but not Corey. She called me a criminal yesterday, and I don't think she appreciates the hard work and the things I do for her.
The amount of laws I have to break.
Like, if she'd stopped leaving the streaming office abandoned during break, then these things wouldn't happen.
It's the forbidden is the ancient society of no Corys. That's the people who operate the West. Anyway, so that's going on Saturday morning, and also Sunday morning, and then Hide and Dance on Rhythm Cafe is going to be a thing.
Yeah, we actually started it last week because the game that we had been doing last week only took us a half hour, so we started this one, and I have to remember to bring some controllers because we're going to do 2-player.
Nice.
It's a Switch game?
It's brand new. It's out on Switch now, but it is a mobile game, I think, originally. I believe
cool.
we've even played it before in mobile, like some years ago.
If you think it looks familiar, it's because you're thinking of Hidden My Game by Mom, or the less entertaining title, Mom Hid My Game. Hidden My Game by Mom is a fantastic, surreal, hidden object game, and this is based around...
Yeah, have you played Hide and Dance at all?
Never,
So
ever.
it's a rhythm game, as in there are notes coming down, and the character you pick, because there are alternate dancers, are dancing and grooving and doing their thing, and then somebody, because it's not always mom depending on the character you've picked, but if you're one of the kids, it's mom, goes to open the door to see what you're doing, and you have to hit some buttons to hide so that mom doesn't catch you
Dancing.
dancing. Sometimes you're doing your homework instead. Sometimes you're hiding sometimes you're a log. Sometimes you're in a blue,
Substitution jutsu.
basically green screen suit because then no one can see you.
It's great.
I love it.
Mom's great because mom will start doing yoga
Oh, good. Good.
or reading books.
That sounds awesome. And then Wheeler is going to be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel on Is This Your Card? Which is the newest Yu-Gi-Oh! Digital game.
Catch it while you can, because it will only be here for May.
Apparently, it is significantly better than the previous Yu-Gi-Oh! Digital game that Wheeler played.
What a relief.
I haven't heard Wheeler actually say that, but
I haven't heard him say this one's bad though.
But
so.
I haven't heard that he has quit this one in disgust.
Fair. Okay.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
I think it's already ahead.
Okay, good.
Then on Monday, it's the Can't Draw Horses Club with Corey and friends drawing things. Sometimes they're horses.
Mm-hmm.
And Jackbox Party Pack on Crossing the Streams.
Nice.
So lots of cool stuff coming up. LoadingReRun.com/live is the place to go.
There's
see the full
one
schedule.
big thing that I like to point out on the schedule, as James is supposed to have updated it, and my understanding is it's not a secret. Is that long game?
Yeah.
He's gonna have Gloomhaven,
Yes.
The long game returns to the studio.
and we're gonna start over.
Yeah. Destiny is over, and we're back to Gloomhaven. We
And four of
we'll
us
have
have to remember how
we'll
the
have to
game
have
works.
a bit of a discussion among the players about how we're actually gonna set it up. But I think the plan is to do kind of a soft reboot on it,
Yeah, we all have to remember how the game works.
so you figure out how the game works.
And I know where my character is because it's been in my cubby this entire time.
And you've
Nice.
made
Oh yeah,
precious-
everyone's got sweet painted characters and stuff.
Yeah.
You made very few changes to the board anyway, if in a legacy style. So
I think there's only been you put down
Yeah.
one or two stickers.
We'll have to probably reset our card decks.
Right.
This is going to be our bigger thing.
Before we go to the subs, you can also support us on patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. We do have that Patreon, so please go check that out. I'll always love to see. I get notifications every time people upgrade or change or drop part of their, if they have to, I can't do $10 this month, I can only do $5. It's that's fine. You do what you want. Don't, make your rent. Food is expensive these days. But, we appreciate everybody who shows up, and that helps us quite a bit. The YouTube memberships at Loading Ready on the main YouTube channel for Loading Ready Run. But also I want to mention the store.loadingreadyrun.com is now open to the entire world, except for countries where you are currently undergoing postal strife because of war. There's a short list of those. You probably know it if you can't get mail in those countries currently, but the entire world now is open. You can all buy stuff at the Loading Ready Run store, and the Desert Bus 2021 collection is available, including the 2021 doubloons, which I still have a lot of, so if you want to buy some, get in there and buy some. And also, if you spend $60 or more at the site, you will get a pop-up that says, hey, do you want I will it that you take a DVD off of my hands. There are 4 DVDs to choose from. You get it for free. It will not show free in the shopping cart. It will show free after checkout, so you have to go through the checkout part and then see what the cart says, and you'll by about the part where you enter your payment details, it'll tell you, yes, we're taking that money off. That's just how the plugin works that makes that thing happen. So
I know the store is very important to you, but I'm going to go
Yes.
back to those YouTube memberships. You've got a couple of days left to submit your questions for the next Askler that's going to happen, which I believe is me, Serge, and Adam.
Wow.
One.
Meat mix.
Spicy combo. I like it.
That is your perk for being a YouTube member.
Yeah, on the main youtube.com/loadingreadyrun channel.
If you haven't seen the last episode with Kathleen and Cameron and Nelson, is it?
I don't remember.
I can't remember who was on. I don't think... Was it Nelson? I thought it was Wheeler.
Oh, you're right.
Okay.
Kathleen, Cameron, Wheeler. That was a great episode. Check it out if you haven't watched it already.
Yeah, but that'll be on the community page, which is like a little tab for it. You'll find it. You're all internet savvy.
Check out our Twitter, join our Discord, and watch the YouTube community posts for when things happen.
And now we will read the subs.
Yes, in addition to all those other ways of supporting us, some people support us here on Twitch. And those people are these people.
Not exclusively, but today.
Yes. These are the people who started today. They are Alex for 41 months.
The Beardzilla for 32 months.
They are Jess K for 46 months.
100 Abraham Lincolns for 91 months.
Satabi for 88 months.
Spethy Cakes for 18 months.
Ooh. Crudellis with the 105 months.
Most call me Tim for 55 months.
Tim. Thank you all so
There
much.
we go. I knew I saw some bits come in earlier in the stream, so thank you 100 Abraham Lincolns and Gap Filler for the bits.
If it wasn't for Abe, Gap Filler would have missed that entirely because they
gotta
came
be
in
careful.
so late.
Gotta be careful, yeah.
Sniping is hard.
It is very hard, yeah. Operating on that lag.
Gab Filler says snipe bit test.
Yeah.
There you go.
Working on narrowing that window.
Yeah. Tell everybody you know about the store being up for everybody now, and tell them about the Desert Bus Collection stuff, because I really want to get that stuff sold, and the free DVDs go until the end of May.
Yeah. Just as a note with that, the t-shirt Heather is wearing is not part of that,
No,
because that's a Fangamer
yeah,
thing.
these are Fangamer, and that is not a thing.
That is,
But the doubloons
those
are, and we
but
really
there's all
like
sorts
those
of
to
other
go.
there's all sorts of other cool things that are in the on the store there. So check it out, and thanks everybody for watching. We will talk to y'all later.
Tell your friends you like them.